The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by the host of this show are for authentic, honest, and entertaining purposes. Unless you don't think I'm entertaining. I repeat, this is my opinion. I am not telling you how to find and have this video is brought to you by Sebastine.
Does this really seem like the time to have this comedic ass like what? Bro, it is too late. You're saying this to Armin. You could have said this to me. So you mean to tell me that this shit is just a fucking telltale game that no matter whatever you pick, the same shit's gonna happen? I'd like to see it as enjoy the time with your friends. So if like he's tried this shit multiple times, does that mean the same people who come back are just different versions of themselves? And like knowing the truth is just, it's best to not know the truth. Like at this point, I don't even know what to say. Okay, so this shit is just, these two motherfuckers are just trying to take responsibility for literally something that was already predestined to happen. Oh fuck no. Oh fuck no. All right, I ain't gonna hold you. I still have questions, so I'm going to be hyper focusing on Attack on Titan today. There's more details that need to happen. I got more questions, and I would like to learn these questions. This is every single detail in Attack on Titan in 40 minutes. As you can see, finding out about anime was probably the best thing ever to happen to me. And again, if y'all have not checked out Attack on Titan, we can watch it together on my Patreon. Y'all ready for a wild ride? I'm still, because what the fuck? Like right now, I'm still in the mode of this is the founder's fault. All of this is the founder's fault. I genuinely think the founder created everything that happened and chose somebody to do it and then manipulated their mind. That's what I think. I'm sorry. I may be a dumbass, but fuck it. I don't know. We need more details because this is amazing. This is very amazing. My gosh, come on. Let's do it.
This is every single detail in the entire
I need
series
every one of them.
Attack on Titan. Starting at the very first episode. When we first see the scouts in action, we briefly see the character of Moses. However, if you're an anime only like myself, you wouldn't have known this about him. In the manga, his mother calls him by his last name, which is Brown. And as we all know, this is also Reiner's second name. So is this guy Reiner's long-lost cousin?
What the fuck? Oh shit, hold on.
The existence of Marley is hinted at from the very start of the show. If you go back and look at the very first title card, you can actually see Marley,
How the hell am I supposed to know that? How in the hell am I supposed to know that? Like, man, listen, I thought I had a couple times where I was going ahead, getting my, trying to use my brain and everything. How the fuck am I supposed to know that?
Ocean and the walls on Paradis. My
Man.
theory is that this ship right here is also the exact ship that Reiner, Berthold, Annie, and Marcel all travel to Paradis on for the first time. In Aaron's dream sequence, there's a part that features Connie, Sasha, and Jan,
this is what I was talking about in the last episode. The last video.
Armin, Levi, and Mikasa all dead in a forest. This was supposed to be how Attack on Titan would end back when Isayama started writing the manga on the 9th of September 2009. When we meet Armin for the first time, we see these guys bullying him. But what actually happened to them, because they seem to just disappear off the face of the earth? In the past, Isayama has stated how much he hates bullying, so naturally he wanted to kill them off ASAP.
I respect it. That's what I respected. Okay.
When the Colossal Titan kicks down the wall in the first episode, you can see them being crushed by a massive boulder. On top of that, we also saw Eren's mum get killed in this episode. She tells Eren and Mikasa to just run and get out of there, which makes sense because of course she didn't want her children to get eaten. She uses the fact that her legs are crushed to try to convince Eren to stop trying to save her. Later on, after Hannah's bitches out of killing Dinah's Titan,
Hey man, listen, I honestly think in the beginning, they made the Titans look so fucking scary. I guess like to capture how scary it is. Like, oh my gosh.
we see that as she's being lifted up, she actually is in control of her legs, meaning that she probably could have survived if Hannes had just helped them lift up the roof.
That is true. That is true. That is true. Oh my gosh.
During episode 2, when Eren, Mikasa, and Armin and all of the other people of Shiganshina are evacuating to Wall Rose, if you pay close attention, you'll actually be able to spot Annie amongst the refugees. Also, later on in the same episode, before many people were sent to their deaths in an attempt to solve the Wall's famine issue, you'll notice that Reiner and Berthold are also in that crowd. Now,
Well, I do need to watch. I need to watch this again. So, Well, I'm gonna watch this again.
Now, there are quite a few details during Attack on Titan's training arc. Firstly, after Eren failed his initial ODM training exercise, as they are eating dinner that night, we can see Eren with a bandage on his injury. But if you take a closer look, you can see steam coming from his head, revealing his Titan powers.
Oh. Oh.
Additionally, you can also see a subtle foreshadowing to Reiner and Bertholdt's true identities in this scene. As Eren is talking about the armored Titan, the camera instantly pans to Reiner. After the colossal Titan breaks down the wall for the second
Man, how the hell am I gonna get that? How am I gonna get that off of the first watch? How am I gonna get that?
time, we see a bunch of pure Titans making their way into Trost. Right? Did you know that they actually reveal the true origin of Titans? If you watched closely during Grish's backstory in Season 3, then you would have noticed that these pure Titans were actually the other Eldian restorationists. During the scene where Eren saves Armin from the bearded Titan, Eren said he could never die in a place like this. The ironic thing is that he said that while inside the mouth of a Titan, and well, spoiler alert, he dies inside the mouth of a Titan.
I mean, yeah.
Additionally, there was also something in this scene that 99% of fans overlooked.
What?
If you look closely, you'll notice that Armin was literally right there when Eren transformed for the first time, but was way too shocked about him being eaten to realize what had actually just happened, which is why he couldn't remember anything about the situation. Did you know that Titans don't actually just eat humans for no reason? As we know, Titans don't have any physical need to eat whatsoever, so the reason why they eat people is because of the very slim chance that they might be able to consume a Titan shifter and turn back into a human.
What? What? I definitely missed that. So if that's the case, that means they do have a mind and they're not mindless. What, they just can't control their body? Like I think I read something or saw something that said like the writer or the creator of the show saw drunk people and then just decided to write them as how the Titans like maneuver and stuff.
Season 1, Episode 6, we get a small insight into Mikasa's backstory. We're also shown how her and Eren actually met for the first time. Towards the end of the episode, when Eren was being strangled by one of the kidnappers, we see Mikasa coming to the realization that the world is very cruel. We see this shot of her staring at a praying mantis eating a butterfly. And for those of you who don't know, praying mantis are well known for decapitating their mates.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
Sound familiar? What's even crazier?
Oh shit! I didn't catch that.
Though is that the butterfly is also a symbol for freedom, Eren's main driver. Who let Isayama cook like this? After this flashback, we witness Mikasa's Ackerman powers awaken before she saves Eren from the final kidnapper. But did you ever notice that there's actually a cool parallel to this later on in the show? Eren first uses his founding Titan abilities when saving Mikasa from the Smiling Titan, meaning both of their true powers awakened while saving each other. In Season 1, Episode 7, right before Eren saves Mikasa in his Titan,
I always thought, I guess Mikasa saving Eren so much. They said it was the Ackerman curse, but I don't know, because remember when the founder saved the king? Oh, my brain still.
We briefly see this shot of a pomegranate. What was the meaning of it? Well, pomegranates are sometimes depicted as a symbol of death, resurrection, or rebirth.
Really?
Which in this case symbolizes Mikasa accepting Eren's death at the time and deciding to live on in order to remember him. In Episode 10, when Eren transforms to protect Mikasa and Armin from the cannon, the warriors' reactions to this are heavily emphasized, and they then rush over to evaluate the situation. Once again, foreshadowing that they aren't really who they say they are.
I didn't catch that. What the fuck?
His introduction is one that you can't really forget. Well, if you paid very close attention here, you would have noticed a slight foreshadowing to his death. When he sat on the wall drinking a lot, one of the garrison says to him, "Someday you will die from drinking." And while it wasn't the alcohol itself that killed him, it was still the action that led to his eventual death. We all remember the scene where Eren...
What? Did he got like... Oh, well, yeah. Oh, die from drinking. Oh my gosh, holy, okay, easy, I'm a cook like a motherfucker, I ain't gonna lie. Oh my gosh. I was thinking of when he was like, ooh, I would like to be eaten by a female Titan. Like, I was like, or I'm thinking like, so is this foreshadowing about Annie, huh? Even though Annie didn't eat him, but I'm just saying like, that weird ass comment that he said.
Tries to punch Mikasa in his Titan form during the battle for Trostark. Well, if you look very closely at this scene in the manga, you'll actually be able to notice two figures standing outside one of the windows in the background.
What
It is
that mean?
believed that these two people are actually Eren and Zeke when they were wandering around in the paths in
I remember. There's like a bunch of things that I guess are like in the anime where Eren is literally like lurking around. That's why I can't wait to watch this again.
Season 4. Most AOT fans remember the female Titan arc very vividly. The amount of chaos in that arc was like nothing we had seen before at the time. But if you pay close attention as the scouts are setting off on their mission, you would have noticed Jan kissing his right hand before battling the female Titan. But why did he do this?
I don't know.
The hand that he kissed was actually the same hand that held Marco's ashes at the funeral, reminding himself of the lives he is fighting for and the whole reason why he joined the scouts in the first place, giving him the confidence to enter the battle. When Armin came to the suspicion that the female Titan could be looking for Eren, he comes up with the idea of hiding their faces as they go to attack her. He does this because he believes that it won't kill anyone unless it confirms that they aren't Eren. However, when Reiner goes to attack her, he takes his hood down. The reason he did this was so that Annie would know it was him,
And also, Annie kept looking at them. Like, when the thing about Annie, and I guess it's like more of a hindsight thing, she kept looking like just like looking. That should have been like honestly, that should have been like what's it called? A smoking gun.
therefore allow him to escape. Throughout the show, we see this type of flower appear multiple times.
Yeah.
Did you ever know that there's actually a hidden meaning behind them?
What is it?
This flower is known as the Campanula and symbolizes gratitude and eternal love, directly referencing one of Attack on Titan's main themes portrayed through Eren and Mikasa. If you
That's why that shit kept coming up?
carefully analyzed Eren's Titan form, you might have noticed that he actually has a third eyelid. What's crazy about this, though, is that this physical attribute is one commonly found in birds, connecting Eren once again to the recurring symbolism of birds and freedom. We all know that Attack on Titan's openings are full of details and foreshadowing, and this is a prime example of that. In opening 2, there's a shot where you can see one side of Hanji's goggles breaking, directly foreshadowing her losing her eye after Moblit saves her from the Colossal Titan's explosion in Season 3.
That's so tough. Oh.
The second ending sequence of Season 1, the identities of the warriors and Ymir are actually foreshadowed. In one of the shots, we can see all of the scouts next to one of the walls. It then transitions to the other side of the wall where we see Annie, Reiner, Bertolt, and Ymir all standing behind it. And as we know now, these characters all came from across the sea over in Marley. In the same
What about Krista? Krista was like right there, or Historia.
ending, you can also spot this scene where Mikasa once again can be seen next to a praying mantis, reinforcing the detail that we covered earlier in the video and foreshadowing how the show would end.
Okay, so the thing about that, because like, is it confirmed that the founder was looking through Mikasa's eyes? The thing about that's like kind of like fucking with my head. When did Mikasa know that she probably was going to have to kill Eren? Like, I want to know. I don't know. I feel like it was like already like predetermined and like she knew, because if oh my gosh, it's like the thing of that Eren knows the future and also knows the past, present, and future too. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. That's why I keep calling this shit a paradox, because if he's able to like do what he wants, that means he knew to kiss the hand of Historia.
Everybody remembers Eren's final fight with Annie at the end of Season 1. Well, during the fight, we are shown the inside of a church before it gets crushed by Annie. But did you ever notice that the formation that everyone was praying in actually directly resembles the Colossal Titans within each of the walls? As the fight is coming to an end.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh, my gosh. Damn.
And Eren is absolutely crashing out on Annie. He says, "I'll destroy the entire world."
Yes, this is when I was, this is exactly, was like, yo, he's corrupted. He is corrupted.
Now, at first, we all thought maybe Bro was just pissed off about the fact that Annie betrayed
No.
him. But as we know now, Bro was being completely serious. We all remember when Eren and Zeke were traveling through the paths to the past. When Zeke was trying to show Eren that he'd been brainwashed by his father just like he had. But did you know that if you watched very closely in a few of Season 1's first episodes, you can actually spot the adult version of Eren chilling in certain shots?
What the fuck? Nick? Wait.
Father just like he had. But did you know that if you watched very closely in a few of Season 1's first
Where is he? Where is he?
the past, when Zeke was trying to show Eren that he'd been brainwashed by his father just like he had. But did you know that if you watched very
Where the fuck is he? Is this him? Is this him?
closely in a few of Season 1's first episodes, you can actually spot the adult version.
Bro, what? I thought this was... Wait, I thought this was like Mikasa or somebody. All right, come on. He was right here. There's no way he was right here. There's no fucking way. There's no way he was right there.
Eren chilling in certain
I mean, okay, this is like, all right. But he was right in front of them. And nobody guessed. Okay.
shots. Now, if you're a true AOT fan, then the chances are you've at least dabbled with listening to some of the OST. Well, one of the tracks, Bauklotsa, sorry if I butcher pronunciation, which was played during one of the saddest moments in the entire show, Hanji's death, was heard for the very first time in Season 1. The crazy part here, though, are the lyrics. It always mentions things related to burning and fire. For example, the battle is rising, waiting for the hot wind to take our wings, and the swords that our hands wield are blazing with hatred. It's almost like the song was made back in Season 1 with Hanji's death in mind. At the very start of the season, sometime after the scouts find out that there are colossal titans in the walls, Armin made a crazy statement that would eventually come true. In the manga, we see him say it might be about time they decide to go for a walk all at once, directly foreshadowing the rumbling, and this also means that Isayama had been planning to end the show that way since very early on in the series.
That was also very funny of how, like... When I said it don't matter what type of organism you are, walking down a hill looks fucking insane, bro.
In episode 1, we see some of the scouts on their way to evacuate nearby villages due to a potential breach in the wall. Connie mentions that his village, Ragako, was in the south, exactly where the Titans were coming from. And if you paid close attention, you would have noticed that after he said this, Berthold and Reiner had very distraught facial expressions, suggesting that they already knew what had happened to his village. Shortly after this, we see Sasha arriving at one of these nearby villages, saving a girl from this really creepy, very small Titan.
And that's... Oh.
However, what many people may have missed about this Titan is that it was actually Connie's dad. And although we didn't know at the time, this further confirmed that the Titans that were inside the walls that day were simply the citizens of Ragako after Zeke turned them into Titans.
Oh, shit. What?
After this evacuation is complete, a group of the scouts are traveling to investigate where the potential breach in Wall Rose could actually be.
This
On
was
their
scary
way,
as
they
hell.
briefly pass through a district called Ermik District. However, I think that there's a hidden meaning behind this name. The Japanese translation of the district is Erumihaku, and this could be a reach, but if you ask me, I'd say that sounds very similar to Eremika, the fandom's name for Eren and Mikasa. Another stop during the scouts' mission was the Utgard Castle ruins. And fun fact, this arc probably has the most details in it out of the whole rest of the season. So listen in. First of all, we see Reiner walking into this small room where Ymir is already rummaging through a box of canned food.
This was before I knew Reiner was being a... Oh, I hate it. Oh. I thought, like, Ymir was like a sleeper agent or something because she could read the thing. Nigga, I didn't know that both of them could read it, and they were shocked that both of them could read it. I thought Reiner caught her being like a Titan or something. Like, come on, man.
More
come on,
specifically,
bruh.
Herrick. However, when she passes the can to Reiner, he was completely startled by this. The reason for why is because the writing on the can was actually in Marleyan, but seeing as they both understood the language on the can, they both revealed their true identities to each other in that moment, hinting at both of their Titan abilities. When the Beast Titan shows up for the first time, Ymir notices that there's something off about the way that Reiner and Berthold reacted to seeing him. Naturally, all three of them are completely shaken up by this, although it was all for different reasons. Obviously, Reiner and Bertholdt knew it was Zeke, but as far as Ymir knew, another Titan shifter had arrived on Paradis. Now, this one is probably one of the most famous details in all of Attack on Titan. Right after Ymir transforms into her Jaw Titan for the first time, while she's fighting off some of the Pure Titans, if you look very closely when one of the towers is about to fall down, you'll actually be able to see Bertholdt about to bite his hand, foreshadowing his colossal Titan powers. Speaking of Bertholdt's Titan powers, during the build-up to the reveal as the Armored and Colossal Titans, the pair start using the word warrior to describe themselves, with an intentional emphasis whenever it was mentioned.
I mean, I just thought Reiner was just tripping the fuck out. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't know. I didn't know that. What the hell? I didn't know that.
But why was this? Well, there are two reasons.
Why?
Firstly, to create a sort of distinction between them and the scouts who consider themselves soldiers, once
Right.
again subtly hinting at their true identities. And secondly, because they were known as the warrior unit in Marley. In terms of moments in anime, you can't really get more iconic than Reiner and Bertholdt's reveal as the Armored and Colossal Titans.
I'm still thrown off that Mikasa literally heard this and just stood there.
But there's actually something extra hidden away in this scene. If you looked very closely just before they transform, you can actually see one frame of their respective Titan forms in the lightning. If you were watching closely towards the end of season,
You can talk about watching closely. How the hell am I supposed to catch that? It's literally one frame.
2, in episode 10, during the scene where Reiner and Bertholdt were holding Ymir and Eren captive in the forest of giant trees, then you would have noticed a shot during a flashback where Bertholdt is looking back at Annie while Reiner looks at him in shock. Well, this is actually a reference to the famous distracted boyfriend meme.
Really?
We all know just how much foreshadowing there is in the show's openings and endings, right? Well, if you paid close attention to ending 3, then you would have noticed this scene where we see a crowd of people trying to protect a baby from the Titans, directly foreshadowing the baby scene during the rumbling. You can also see the rumbling itself in this ending sequence.
Yeah, I mean, that I did not know what the fuck that was. In the ending, I did not know what that was.
Obviously, at this point, no one even knew about the rumbling, but the crazy part is that we
Nobody knew but Eren, apparently.
didn't even know why or how there were Titans in the walls. Throughout this ending, there are also a few glitch sequences that happen. Well, if you have a very sharp eye, then you would have noticed one shot where the number 845 flashes up on the screen. And for those of you who don't know, this was actually the year that the Colossal and Armored Titans breached Wall Maria back in Season 1, marking the beginning of Marley's attack. We all know there's an otherworldly amount of details and foreshadowing in the show's openings. Well, in opening 4 of the show Red Swan, there's a shot that shows a cut hand, while Mikasa and Armin appear in the background.
I like how they use Levi. Okay, first off, this is crazy. I didn't know this. I did not know this at the time. But the fact that they used Levi during his OVA episode, interesting.
This is actually foreshadowing when Eren talks to them with his hand cut in Season 4. The medal that Historia gave Eren during the medal ceremony, combined with the buttons on her robe, makes the exact same shape as Eren's founding Titan in Season 4. If you're a true AOT fan, the chances are you remember Levi's cravat. But did you know there's a really sad detail behind it? During Levi's backstory, we see him wearing his mother's dress as a child after she died. And it's believed that his cravat is actually a part of that dress, which he sewed in so that he could always have something to remember her by.
I love Levi. I love Levi, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Levi a real nigga, man. I love Levi.
When Hanji and Levi are torturing Sanis to try and get information about the royal family from him, we see Hanji use a variety of methods.
Bro, I saw the manga version. Oh my gosh.
But this one unsurprisingly missed the final cut. This gadget right here is essentially a nutcracker, if you get what I'm saying. The device works by putting the nuts in said device, and then the screw at the top is twisted until it crushes what's inside. Luckily for Sanis, before the device was used, he gave up all the information that was needed, so Hanji never ended up using it. At some point in the show, Armin tells us that his parents were killed during a mission. However, this isn't actually the case. During the same scene as in the last detail, Sanis refers to one time where they killed a couple who tried to flee the walls on a hot air balloon.
What?
This couple was in fact Armin's parents, who were arrested, questioned, and killed by the military police.
Oh my
Speaking of
gosh.
Sanis once again, did you know that this wasn't the only time we saw him in this kind of torture setting? If you paid very close attention to when Erwin was explaining the story of his father, you can actually see that one of the people who was torturing him was actually Sanis.
Really?
Before the scouts set out to kill Rod Reese, Levi tells Historia that she needs to become the queen. Mikasa then tells her that she could hit him after all of this was over. When Historia does punch him, Levi laughs. Not only was this the first and last time we see Levi smile in the show, but there's actually more to it.
What?
Part of the reason why
Oh, oh my gosh, no.
Why he was smiling was because he was happy that for once his squad managed to survive. After Eren transforms and uses Titan hardening for the very first time in an attempt to save the scouts from Rod Reese's giant Titan transformation, we see this shot right here before Mikasa breaks him out. This is actually foreshadowing the skeletal structure of his founding Titan form in Season 4.
Okay, that gotta be kind of a reach. That has to be. Come on, man. Come on, man. That has to be a reach. Come on.
When Rod Reese's Titan finally arrives at the Orvard District Wall, we see this shot of these three kids staring up at the absolute monstrosity that it is.
Was that the different versions of like Gabby, Falco, and what other cousin?
But did you know that this is actually a direct parallel to when the Colossal Titan broke the wall in Season 1?
Oh shit, never mind. I'm wrong as fuck. My bad.
In episode 49 of the show, there's a glitch ending which gives us a glimpse into some of the events that would occur in the coming episodes. But why does this happen, and why is it this episode in particular? Well, there's a theory that if you take the episode number 49, so 4 and 9, put both numbers together, you actually get 13, which, as we all know, is how long a Titan shifter lives for. What do you guys think about this one?
I think that's a reach, but fuck it. I don't care. I love the details.
See, when Zeke ambushed the scouts with a whole bunch of Titans in Season 3 is one of the most memorable in the entire series. But where did these Titans actually come from? Well,
there's
if
the
you
cart
paid
Titan.
very close attention to when the scouts were arriving at Shiganshina, you'll actually notice breathing pipes sticking up from the ground.
What?
Under these were people who had consumed Zeke's spinal fluid, ready to turn into Titans whenever Zeke decided to scream. Upon the scouts' arrival to Shiganshina, Armin finds a strange liquid he's not familiar with. After smelling it, he says they were drinking something like black tea. Smells good. What is this drink? But did you know that said black tea was actually coffee? Directly hinting at Reiner, Berthold, and the rest of the warriors being from another civilization, as coffee wasn't a thing on Paradis. We
Interesting. Oh, fuck, dude.
all remember when the Colossal Titan grabs the wall before destroying it back in the very first episode of the entire show. But did you know that also during the Return to Shiganshina arc, as Eren is going to transform to seal the wall, the same damage is still there 2 seasons later? Some very cool attention to detail, as many shows would have forgotten something like this. In the show's 5th opening, there are a few shots that reveal a lot of the plot lines within Season 3. However, these 2 details were 99% impossible to catch unless you weren't specifically looking for them. When it shows Armin waking up, there's actually one singular frame that shows him in his burnt up state,
Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my gosh.
foreshadowing his battle against the Colossal Titan. And also, right before it shows Historia, there's another one frame where you can see Dinah Fritz from the photo that Grisha kept in his journal in the basement, hinting at her role in the story. We all remember when Erwin
This is actually insane, bro. Shout out to ECM. Bro, this is crazy. This is really crazy.
dies after leading the recruits in the final charge in an attempt to stop the Beast Titan's attacks. But did you know that his death was actually foreshadowed earlier on in the show?
How?
If you pay close attention once again during the opening, you can actually spot him in this shot among some of the other dead scouts, hinting at his eventual death. Originally, Isayama was actually going to make the Car Titan a middle-aged man called Oliver Peak, but later scrapped the idea and redesigned it to fit Peak Finger as we know her today. In episode
Absolute
54,
peak.
if you watched very closely, you would have seen this shot here where Reiner's face was freshly healed.
Bro, oh my gosh.
And while this isn't entirely confirmed, some fans believe that this is actually a handsome Squidward reference from SpongeBob. When the Beast Titan sneak attacks and destroys almost all of the scouts, there's actually a hidden detail here that reveals the existence of Marley. If you listened very closely, you would have noticed that he makes quite a few baseball references, which is a sport that didn't exist on Paradise Island, foreshadowing the existence of an outside country. If you're a true AOT fan, then you definitely remember the absolute craziness that was Levi versus the Beast Titan. As we all know, this scene was pretty brutal, but did you know that there was a tiny thing that they actually censored for?
Oh yeah, when in the manga, his fucking sword went through his head.
The anime. In the manga, when Levi
gosh.
has his sword in Zeke's mouth, it actually goes through his cheek.
Oof.
Everybody remembers when Historia punches Levi after becoming the queen.
Why'd she smoke? Why did thing like smoke? What was that?
But something about this wasn't actually included in the anime. In the manga, after initially refusing to become the queen, Levi grabs her aggressively.
Oh my
her
gosh.
punching him in this scene was supposed to be revenge for that. For those of you who don't know, there are a bunch of characters that were written based on other fictional.
Whoa, that would make sense. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh. Huh. So that means Mikasa knew that Levi yoked her up like that?
Characters from other titles. But did you know that there's something that actually connects AOT to GTA 5?
How?
One of Isayama's favorite characters from the game was Trevor, and used him as inspiration for Kenny's character. Right before Armin eats Berthold in his pure Titan form, we see Berthold briefly smile when he saw the scouts watching him. But why did he do this?
Yeah,
it's
what?
actually because since he didn't know they had a Titan syringe, or the fact that the Titan was Armin, he probably just assumed that they were going to come and save him so that they could keep him alive to question him, or even imprison him.
Oh,
Unfortunately
shit.
for him, though,
Damn.
that wasn't the case.
Oh, damn. Oh, my gosh. Well, oh, sorry, Billy Mays. I ain't gonna lie to you. You had to go.
In Season 3, Episode 18, if you were paying very close attention, then you would have noticed that there isn't actually any narration at all in the episode. And the
Really?
reason for this is crazy. It's actually
What?
because Armin is the narrator of AOT throughout the rest of the show.
Oh. Oh.
And since he was still unconscious after his fight with Berthold, he was unable to narrate the episode.
Bro, this detail is fucking crazy. What?
During the scene where Eren is trying to convince Levi to use the Titan serum to save Armin as opposed to Erwin, he says the one who's going to save humanity isn't me or Commander Erwin, it is Armin. And well, little did we know at the time, but this was foreshadowing how Armin would go on to take credit for saving humanity in the show's finale.
Okay.
Everybody remembers seeing Grisha's conversation with Eren Kruger from Eren's memories back in Season 3. But if
Right.
you look very closely at this scene, you would actually be able to notice that when Eren is telling everyone what Grisha said, he actually sits exactly like he was sat and adjusts his position to the same as Eren Kruger's when telling everyone what he said. We also all
Oh,
remember when
shit.
Kruger says to Grisha, if you want to save Mikasa, Armin, and everyone else, followed by whose memories are those? Well, during Season 1, Episode 9, you can actually notice that Grisha says those exact words,
Huh?
confirming that the memories Eren Kruger was referring to were Grisha's. Did you know
Huh? Bro, what? What the fuck? Oh, my brain can't compute this shit. Oh my gosh.
that when Grisha transformed
Bro, did I like royally fuck myself by watching AOT first? Are there any other animes that are like as good as this show? Or like on like the level of detail and everything? I cannot wait. I feel like I just spoiled myself, bro. But that's okay because I had experienced like the greatest thing I've ever experienced before.
into his Titan in order to take the founding Titan from the Race family, there's
Uh-huh.
actually more to this than you would think at first. When Grisha goes to stab his hand, he says he's going to end the story that you started. As he says this, he stabs the hand that he used to take his sister Faye beyond the walls in Marley.
So if he started this story, that also means that Eren cannot be. What the hell?
AKA the start of his story. During
Huh.
Grisha's backstory, we're first introduced to his son Zeke, who
Right.
we all know becomes the Beast Titan. However, during this scene, you can actually see him playing with a monkey toy, exactly
shit.
like his Beast Titan. But
For
if you look
real?
even closer, you can actually see soldiers laying on the floor next to a horse, which is a direct reference to Erwin's charge and all of the soldiers that Zeke killed.
How the hell can you even catch that, man? Oh my gosh, I like this guy.
Everybody remembers Tom Xaver, Zeke's mentor and previous Beast Titan. But did you notice that he actually appears in the show well before we saw him during Zeke's backstory?
Where?
In Season 3, also during Grisha's backstory, you can spot him right when Grisha's about to leave the walls
Oh,
with
wow.
his sister Faye. As we all know, the Pure Titans that invaded Trost back in Season 1 were Grisha's old comrades from the Eldian Restorationists. But did you know that there's actually a parallel that further connects these two events? When this Pure Titan here is about to eat Sergeant Gross, it's in the exact same posture as it was in Episode 5. Every AOT fan remembers the scene where Grisha is talking to Gross before the owl saves him from being a Pure Titan. But there's actually something hidden away in their conversation that many fans overlooked. When Grisha asks him, why do this? Do you get enjoyment out of seeing other people being eaten? He replies, it's interesting. People actually want to see cruelty. Peace is a wonderful thing, but there's something lacking about it. However, during his reply, he's actually breaking the fourth wall, staring
What?
directly into the camera and talking about the audience.
Well, obviously, I wouldn't be able to know that. And usually I'm able to catch some fourth wall references. I didn't catch this one.
Also, when Kruger is
the
explaining a
hell?
bit of the lore to Grisha, as he mentions the words founding titan, his appearance actually changes to Eren Yeager. It's never confirmed what this actually means, however, I believe that this could be referencing how Eren was manipulating previous users of the Attack Titan. If you look closely during the ending credits, you'll see a boy stuck under some rubble in one of the shots. But did you notice that this exact same shot can also be seen in Season 4, right after we see Armin transform for the first time? Throughout the show, Hanji and Levi have always been known to have a close and banterful relationship, which of course is clear to us through Levi's nickname for Hanji, Four Eyes. But did you spot that after Hanji lost her eye in the Return to Shiganshina arc, Levi completely stopped calling her this? Throughout the show,
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. Shit.
there are a few times where we see Levi drinking tea, and I'm sure you noticed that he holds his cup in a very strange way. Well,
Yeah.
the reason why he does this is because back when he lived in the underground, he once bought himself an expensive cup of black tea, having saved up all his money for a while. However, when he picked it up by its handle, it instantly broke and spilled all over him, so now he only holds his cups from the rims.
Oh, that's it. Oh my gosh, I love this. Oh, what the hell?
In the final chapter ending song Itarashai by Ai Higuchi, the music video takes place just after Mikasa's death as seen in the end credits. It shows us that Eren and Mikasa did finally end up with the happy life together that they always wanted. In the very first scene of Season 4, we see Falco waking up after being unconscious on the battlefield during the war against the Mideast Alliance. After he gets taken back to the Marleyan Trench, he's very dizzy and says to his friends, "Wasn't I flying around with a sword just now?" This is directly foreshadowing Falco becoming the Jaw Titan, as it seems to be that he already had gained some of Ymir's memories. What's odd about this situation though is that the Attack Titan is supposed to be the only Titan that allows the user to be able to see future memories.
So, yeah, what the fuck, dude? Are we just breaking the rules of this own universe?
Armin's Colossal Titan form
Like
doesn't
what?
actually have any ears. What's strange about this is that all the other Titans do, including Berthold's Titan, who was the previous Colossal. But the reason for this is quite simple. Armin
What?
doesn't want to hear the screams of the people who are killed when he transforms.
What? That's an option? That's an actual option? I could just choose no ears? How did... But that would mean he would know what would happen when he becomes a Colossal Titan, other than, like, blowing everybody up.
In the final battle of the whole
What?
show, Ymir summons a whole bunch of Titans to fight off everyone trying to stop Eren. These Titans were all actually previous Titan shifters for each of the 9. After Zeke betrayed Marley and sided with Paradis, his and Eren's grandparents were sent to prison as a result of his actions. While they were locked up, obviously everything went down on Paradis.
Oh no, that's fucked up. Oh my gosh. So pretty much he just saved... That's... Wow.
One thing led to another, and then all of a sudden, hundreds of thousands of Colossal Titans were charging at them with no intentions of stopping anytime soon.
Unless they walk down a hill and they just slip and fall.
When the Titans got to Marley, Eren's grandparents were still locked up, meaning that they probably got trampled with the other 80% of the world.
That's
Did you know that
crazy,
during the
bro.
rumbling, Eren had his eyes closed for the whole time? In fact, the only reason he opens them at the end was so that he could see Mikasa one last time. The baby in the rumbling that everyone tries to save is actually voiced by Eren Yeager's voice actor's actual baby in the Japanese
What?
dub. Guess you could say, bro, it's really trying to
Oh,
raise a
shit.
family of voice actors. When Gabby shot Eren as he was trying to get to Zeke, the fact that she shot his head off actually completely changed Eren's founding Titan form. All of the bone that we can see is actually just his neck.
I still don't understand that part.
Eren's following transformation after Armin blows up the founding Titan is what his founding Titan would have looked like had Gabby not shot him. In the manga panel during the
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like the thing about that, and I haven't like read the comments of the past video because I'm still trying to like figure this out. If the hallucigenia is the reason behind all of this, right? So if we're going off of that, the hallucigenia is like the source of all life or matter, stuff like that. If we're going off of that premise, pretty much it's like whatever the hallucigenia attaches to will change their whole, I guess, chemistry in mind to cause stuff. So it's like so technically it's not really a parasite, but it can act as one. And whoever will it's in right now is whose the will is going to be. So I guess the founder passing her will onto Eren to make him think like that was his will. Like I genuinely still don't believe that this is all Eren really wanted to do that. Because if the founding Titan's power was to manipulate minds, you can't say that Aaron's mind or the possibility of Aaron's mind wasn't manipulated. You can't deny a possibility of that, right? Because if he broke this Titan curse, that means the Titan curse would continue again. So pretty much, oh my gosh.
Sebastine, you can actually spot Pennywise. That's right, Pennywise
What?
the clown. But check
Nigga.
this out. In the official color version of this manga panel, you can actually see his infamous red balloon. Proving
What?
that this was intentionally done by Isayama. The Attack on Titan manga never reached chapter 140, only 139. Well, Isayama has confirmed that the reason for this is because the number 140 means freedom in Japan, which, as we all know,
wow.
is what Eren kept moving forward to reach, but never did. Did you
Right.
know this moment wasn't supposed to be the first time we saw Eren use the Warhammer's power? In Season 4, the military talk about how Eren had escaped from his jail cell. They never actually showed us his breakout in the anime, but in the manga, there is a panel that shows the tunnel that Eren made to escape. It's a real shame,
shit.
because this would have been a very cool detail to see animated.
Yeah, instead of him talking to himself and Hanji just like laughing and mocking him.
When Annie's about to leave with Falco, Gabby, and the Azumabito, everyone is saying goodbye to her except for Levi, who
Yeah, I saw
stays
that.
nonchalant as always.
Why?
This is because he never forgot about the fact that she absolutely decimated his squad and many of his other comrades back in Season 1.
Fair enough, yeah. I ain't gonna lie, yeah. Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Seems like he isn't going to forgive her anytime soon. Throughout the show, our main
wouldn't
three
either.
characters often follow a similar order. Eren always rushing ahead, Mikasa chasing closely after him, and Armin trailing behind. In
Yeah.
Paths, Armin talks about the time that they once raced to the tree on top of the hill, which further highlights this dynamic. But did you notice that in the ending of the show, it shows Armin once again being last to the tree, except this time, he was the only one left alive.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
During
gosh.
the post-credits scene, we see a boy and his dog roaming around. He then encounters a strange tree, but this tree is actually the tree where Eren was buried. And it also looks very similar to the tree where Ymir got her powers.
Yeah.
While everyone is reuniting after the
Quick question. So, wait a minute. Okay, so in the beginning, Eren was dreaming. I'm assuming that was the same tree, right? Was that the same tree? If that was the same tree, and that could also be the same tree that Ymir went to, and Mikasa knew to bury Eren by this tree, is this like the spawn point of this whole story? Because how do you have this tree in this specific spot, and that tree has been there this whole time? That tree has not gotten destroyed, which is interesting because, oh wait, never mind. That's the island of Paradis. So it's a different tree. It just looks like the tree that Ymir. All right, hold on. But what if that that specific type of tree is in 9 different places of the world or some shit? I don't know. That's probably far-fetched. But I'm just thinking if the founder was looking through Mikasa's eyes, I just don't want to believe it's Eren's fault, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
final battle, Connie and Jan see Sasha. However, if you look closely, you can see her fade away in the background.
Yeah,
when
I
Eren
saw
picks
that.
up Armin's shell during their last conversation, this was actually the first time that he had ever seen it. Before, he was too busy looking across the sea when Armin originally found it. Armin convincing the surviving Marleyans that Eldians are no longer Titans is a parallel to back in Season 1 when he had to convince everyone that Eren was a force for good.
Oh,
We all know
yeah.
that at the end of Season 3, when Eren kisses Historia, he sees a huge portion of the future, including his own death and the rumbling, for example.
Really?
Eren knew Sasha was going to die, but the reason why he asked Connie if she had any final words was because he wanted to see if the future was changing at all. After he heard her final words, he realized that he was doomed to his fate, and there was nothing he could do to change it. This
Oh my gosh.
explains why his attitude was so different after that event.
Wait, so pretty much, so when he was talking to Eren, I mean to Armin, saying like, I tried this over and over and over, and it's the same thing. It's the same what's it called? The same outcome. So like pretty much in the story, he's just doomed to this shit. Like, why did the hallucigenia choose him? Like, why did the hallucinogenia choose? Like, this is what I'm saying. It's like a parasite. If you're doomed to something and you have to, if you are doomed to something, is it really your fault if you can't change it? Oh my gosh, I'm just tripping the fuck out right now.
Throughout the show, Armin was always the narrator, but why was this? In the show's ending, when the heroes are heading across the sea back over to Paradis, Armin talks about making their story known and explaining everything. This story that he's referring to is essentially just the plot of Attack on Titan, and the reason why he's the narrator is because the whole show is simply just Armin's telling of the story that we all know and love. In the episode From You 2,000 Years Ago, as Ymir Fritz is running away from the people chasing her, we see a bloodied flower. What's special about this flower, though, is that there are 9 petals, which is how many Titan powers there are. What's even crazier, though, is that when all of the other slaves snitch on Ymir, there are 13 hands pointing at her, and as we know, a Titan shifter only lives for 13 years. When Pieck and Galliard infiltrated Paradis, at first we see Galliard in a garrison uniform. However, just a few episodes later, which in real time was probably just a few minutes, he's wearing a Survey Corps uniform. We all knew that Gabby was supposed to be the sort of Marleyan version of Eren, but what's interesting is that her whole character design is actually based on a sketch that Isayama did of if Eren was a girl. So Gabby quite literally is a female Eren.
Which is actually really crazy because I really hated Gabby. It's really insane how perception can literally just change. Like, wow. That is actually insane. That is really crazy. Wow. I ain't gonna lie, that just fucked me up. I still think Gabby's annoying. I don't care. I'm living through my perception, but still, that's actually crazy. That depending on who I'm introduced to and who I attach my heart to, will probably make me go against a different version of that. Wow. But you gotta admit, Gabby was really doing some bonehead shit through the whole time. You know, like, come on, bro.
The scene where Armin gets a little bit rizzy with Annie on the ship as the scouts are traveling to the flying boat. When Annie starts the conversation, we see Armin completely dazed out. As confirmed by the final episode of the whole show, this was the exact moment in which Eren told Armin about the truth of his mother, his feelings for Mikasa, and everything else. Did you notice that the last 2 members of the Jaeger family were killed by the last 2 members of the Ackerman family? When Angie dies, we see her reunite with some of the scouts in the afterlife. But did you ever look at who was actually there? We can actually see Erwin, Mike, Moblit, Keith Shadis, Nanaba, Sasha, Dieter, Ian, and even Ymir. But if you take an even closer look, you can also see Flock, who is keeping his distance from the rest of the scouts.
You fucking better. Keep your ass away, boy.
The very first founding Titan was created by a combination of Ymir's wishes and the power of this strange worm.
You heard that? You heard that?
Even closer look, you can also see Flock, who is keeping his distance from the rest of the scouts. The very first founding Titan was created by a combination of Ymir's wishes and the power of this strange worm. What's crazy though is that this worm isn't just some random mythical creature that Isayama...
It said a combination of Ymir's wishes and this worm. So she had a wish, this worm was the genie.
Made up to fit the show's plot. It's actually a real-life creature.
Oh, gosh.
The is an extinct type of marine worm, and Isayama has stated that the reason why he chose this creature in particular was because it was one of the very first worms in all existence. If you looked very closely amongst the cool visuals in Opening 6, My War, you'll see this massive cloud appear above a couple buildings, directly foreshadowing the Rumbling's arrival at Fort Salta. When Eren and Zeke secretly met up in Marley to discuss their plan, during the scene where Zeke throws his baseball to Eren, if you look closely at their shadows, you'll notice that their heads are missing, foreshadowing both of the brothers' fate in the show's ending.
Oh shit, how can I even get that?
All remember when Armin broke down crying after he saw Mikasa holding Eren's head. But the truth behind that moment is even more crushing. Armin wasn't with the scouts when they decided they had to kill Eren to stop the rumbling. And even this moment where he breaks down was the first he heard of this plan. Eren goes through a variety of different hairstyles throughout the show, but if you pay attention at different points, you'll notice that they all somewhat resemble the haircuts of previous holders of his titans. When Eren is speaking to Hanji when he's locked up in jail, he snaps and screams at her. But But why did he do this? Many fans just overlook this as a showing of his new cold-hearted persona. However, this wasn't exactly the case. It's actually because he knew what was going to happen to her. He was genuinely asking her if there was any other way, and unfortunately, there wasn't. Season 4, episode 21 from You 2,000 Years Ago is a direct nod to the very first episode in the show, to You 2,000 Years in the Future. But this isn't the only parallel that can be found between the two episodes. Aaron's scream when he's breaking free from his chains in the past is a callback to when he was screaming after watching his mother getting eaten. Isayama included a few titans that were designed based on real people. For example, you probably know about these titans in the manga based on Eren and Mikasa's Japanese voice actors. But if you looked very closely in season 4, you might have noticed this titan right here, which of course is a reference to the TV show Better Call Saul.
What? What the fuck? What?
Hidden away in the lyrics of opening 6, there's a line that says children squeezing their last coins, directly referencing the scene where Ramsey and his brother are trying to pick up their money while running from the rumbling.
Bro, this was so fucked up. That would, oh my gosh. Bro, watching those last 2 episodes broke me the fuck. Movies broke me the fuck down.
What's insane about this, though, is that Isayama hadn't drawn the panel at the time when the opening came out. During the show's ending, Mikasa starts to cry after seeing Eren. But why was she actually crying? Obviously, it was partly because she missed him, but the reason why only half of Eren's face was showing was to show us that Mikasa was beginning to forget what he actually looked like. Everyone remembers when Magath and Kishadis sacrificed themselves in order to blow up the boat with Jaegerist reinforcements. But did you ever notice that only Magath's death was known by the other characters, meaning Keith was probably just assumed to have been crushed by the rumbling. After Hanji dies,
even though he was the one that blew up that train.
He's in the airship, Levi says to himself, "So long, Hanji, keep watching us." But there's actually a heartbreaking reason as to why he said these words in particular. It's because the first thing that Hanji ever said to him in the manga was, "I was watching you." The way Sasha eats Niccolo's food is actually a callback to when Eren gets kidnapped by Annie back in season 1. Everybody remembers seeing Eren's horrified face after watching his mum get eaten in episode 1. Well, in the very last episode of season 4 before the 2 specials, we see this shot again in a flashback. But did you notice that both of these shots happen at the exact same timestamp?
What?
The scene where Ramsey gets caught stealing money from Sasha while the scouts are undercover in Marley. When he gets caught, one of the Marleyans suggests that they should smash his right hand for punishment. He then escapes, but later on in the show, you can actually see a bandage on his hand, meaning he must have got caught doing the same thing once again. As previously mentioned, the show is narrated by Armin. Well, if you paid very close attention throughout the series, you would have noticed that Eren's eyes progressively changed color as the story went on.
Bro, I thought that was because he was corrupted. I thought it was because, like, what?
This was done to show how Armin forgot the exact color of Eren's eyes, as there was no photos of Eren after he died to remind him. In the second episode of the season, we see the head of the Marleyan military complaining about how their enemies had developed bomber planes and were able to attack without the threat of Marley's titans. He then asks if they have any titans with wings. And little did we know at the time, this was actually foreshadowing Falco's flying jaw titan. Did you know that Sasha's death was actually foreshadowed earlier on in the episode? When the scouts are on the airship, Jan asks just how many more have to die. But if you paid close attention, you would have noticed that the camera actually pans to Sasha when he mentions death.
Oh, come on. No, nobody, you're not able to get that. Come on now. You have to pan to somebody. You have to pan to someone.
We all remember seeing Jan dream about his dream life outside of the walls.
Yeah, what the hell was
him
this?
Sat on the balcony, a woman who seems to be his wife with his child.
Yeah.
But who actually was this woman? If you
It's Mikasa.
watch closely, you can see a scar on her cheek, meaning that Jan's dream wife is actually Mikasa. When Eren beats up Armin after talking to him and Mikasa...
Damn, that's crazy. Damn. Sorry, Doug. Her heart's tied to one person. Sorry, Doug.
He actually fights him the exact same way as he did when he was protecting him from the bullies in season 1. Falco's jaw titan was actually foreshadowed much earlier on. In the episode 2 Brothers, when Zeke makes contact with Eren, we're shown a short sequence of past and future events. One of those events being a shot of Fort Salta, where you can see his titan flying by. In the final AOT movie, The Last Attack, we see this scene of Mikasa as a goth and Armin as a nerd. But
the fuck is this? What the hell is this?
did you know that this wasn't the first time they appeared in the anime? In the same flashback sequence as The Last Detail, they pop up just before Eren starts the rumbling.
What the fuck was that? Huh? There's an Attack on Titan movie?
Season 4, episode 28, you'll notice that some of the shots of the rumbling arriving in Marley directly parallel the shots of the old Eldian Empire during Ymir's backstory. Over the years, Isayama has stated many times that he plans to open a sauna, with the intent of using the tears of his readers to steam it.
You
But did know
hell,
that there's
boy.
actually a canon reference to this in the anime. Also, during the flashback sequence before the rumbling, you can see some of your favorite characters in a sauna. After Zeke and Eren arrive in the path, Zeke tells Eren that he's been waiting for years. If you watch closely here, you can actually notice that his hair goes from short to long to highlight this. Some cool attention to detail. When Colt, Gabby, and Falco are in a building hiding from the battle outside, there are bird cages scattered around the room, symbolizing how Gabby was almost trapped behind all of the Marleyan propaganda she had been fed throughout her entire life. But as she starts to realize the truth of the world, it cuts to an open cage, representing how she finally understands and is now, in a sense, free. In the last
I guess.
tag post-credit scene, you can also see Levi as a janitor mopping the floors, and you might be thinking he looks a bit taller. Well, this is because in this world, he didn't grow up underground, meaning he got enough sunlight and vitamin D to grow properly.
I need to check. I need to watch that. Oh my gosh. Also, why? I like how the Colossal Titan is right here. I need to watch this.
Also cleans in fidget spinner mode. Upon reflection, Nicolo says, maybe in another life I'll open my own restaurant. Well, hidden away in the background of another one of the shots in the post-credits scene, you could spot him with his very own restaurant. At the end of the scene as well, the camera slowly pans upwards towards a familiar-looking tree. The original tree that started it all. As Mikasa and Armin are leaving the cinema, you can actually see Ymir Fritz with her children, Maria, Rose, and Sina. We all remember when the scouts arrived to save Eren, but did you know that we actually got to see them in Marley before this moment? In the ending sequence of the second episode, you can actually see Jan buying a newspaper. The cabin scene actually mirrors Eren's dream at the start of the show, except this time instead of Eren waking up, it's Mikasa. Every AOT fan knows that Paradis is a small island off the coast of Marley, but did you know that it actually exists in real life? If you flip AOT's map upside down, you'll notice that it's literally just an upside down Earth.
Are you fucking serious? So Paradis is Madagascar? Wow. What?
The real life version of Paradise Island is actually Madagascar.
What?
AOT is definitely a show with few wholesome moments, but this one I'm about to show you is one of the very few. In the background in the episode where the scouts are helping to build the railway, you can see Armin chasing Sasha, trying to stop her from drinking all the water, but in good Sasha fashion, she manages to escape and drink it all anyway. In episode 80 from you 2,000 years ago, if you paid close attention to King Fritz, after Ymir saves his life, you'll notice that each of the stars on his crown have 9 points. We all know the cabin scene takes place in the past, but did you know that there's actually a really cool detail that was deleted from the anime? In the manga, there's actually a panel that shows Eren building the cabin by hand in his Titan form. It goes without saying that Eren and Armin are very close friends, but did you ever spot this really wholesome interaction between the two characters? In season 4, episode 9, when our
I heard about this. Oh, when he waited for Armin to cover his ears, but the whole kill is like he knew what the fuck was going to happen.
The trio is at the firing range. You can notice that Eren waits till Armin covers his ears before he shoots. Hanji's death was by far one of the most crushing, no pun intended. But did you know that there's a parallel that sort of foreshadows this in the manga? There are 2 chapters titled Wings of Freedom, the first one when Levi met Hanji in his OVA, and the second when Levi says goodbye to her. The writing on Eren's grave translates to "Here forever, resting peacefully, my most beloved, my dear." What's even more crushing though is that the reason why Mikasa didn't write his name on it was because it probably would have been destroyed by other people after what he did to the world. When the scouts are using ODM on Eren's founding Titan, Reiner looks a little bit wobbly and also uses a lot of gas, which we all know is LODM for.
He don't know how to do it.
It had been 4 years since Reiner used the equipment, so of course he'd be a bit rusty. We all remember when the scouts get attacked by Flock when they're in the hangar repairing the flying boat. But did you ever notice that there's actually a small bit of attention to detail in this scene? You can actually spot him creeping up on them in the background.
I saw that.
When Yankapon is talking to Hanji about how beneficial working together over the last few years had been, he breaks a deck of cards and the card at the top is actually the Joker. What's crazy though is that the Joker often symbolizes chaos or unpredictability, subtly hinting at some of the events that would occur in the coming episodes. The only reason why Samuel was able to bring himself to shoot Armin was simply because he knew he could regenerate. He didn't actually want to kill him. During season 4 episode 2, we see Falcon Miko interacting with Hobo Eren for the first time. But this scene wasn't the first time we got to see Eren in the season. Earlier on in the same episode, you could actually see this shot of him watching over Reiner and the warrior candidates. As we're being shown how Ymir Fritz gained her Titan powers, the lightning as she transforms into the first founding Titan is actually in the shape of the tree in Paths. Also during her backstory, King Fritz says something that almost predicts Eren's fate. He says slaves don't need two eyes. And as we know, there was a short period of time where Eren only had one eye. And nice little nod to Eren being a slave to freedom. Everybody's heard AOT's 7th opening, The Rumbling, and I'm sure you all know about the line where it says slip and fall. And while this probably wasn't intended to foreshadow anything, I think it's kind of funny how it foreshadows one of the wall titans slipping and losing all its aura. The founder Ymir's name actually has a hidden meaning behind it. In Norse mythology, Ymir was a giant whose body was used to create the world. Sound familiar? If you call yourself a true AOT fan, then you definitely know that for each of the seasons of the show, there's an official poster. But did you know that the poster for Season 4 Part 1 is actually a direct parallel to Season 1's? Instead of the warriors attacking Shigan Sheena, Eren is attacking Marley. Did you ever notice Chan doing this face in the finale? While this isn't 100% confirmed, some fans were quick to say that it looks very similar to the Pain face. There's actually a parallel to when Eren is spamming Tatakai to himself in the prison mirror. In episode 22, you can see Gabby doing the exact same pose. In the first of the last two specials, there's a scene where we see this girl pointing at the rumbling, muttering the word Luke. This is actually a parallel to earlier on in the show in Season 1, when a young Louise does and says the exact same thing before Mikasa saves her. And that is every single detail in Season 4 and concludes the every detail in AOT series.
You know what, bro? Shout out to Anime Quota. Yo, this shit. Oh my gosh, this show is fucking amazing. I can't believe it's over. I feel like there are so many more details that I need to know. And they're gonna slowly come to me. They're definitely going to slowly come to me. And I need to watch that ending credit scene. What the hell was that? What the hell? Like, oh my gosh, there's even more. I'm getting what I'm asking for. There's even more stuff. Holy shit. But I do love the attention to detail, bro. This is amazing.